Van Morrison with I Can Tell, 2017's album Roll with the Punches. It is time to talk technology. Mathew Dickerson, a good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Nick. It's always time to
It is
talk technology.
always time to technology. Just very quickly though, I had a text in from Ross from Coonabarabran. We've been chatting a little bit about foods that make you think of Christmas. He said it's cherries for him. He's the second vote for cherries. Is there a food that when you have it, you think, now this is definitely Christmas?
I'm a mango fan.
Mango.
Mangoes. So when mangoes are coming, I go, yes, it's the season for mangoes, and that means it's summer, and that means it's Christmas coming. So, yeah, I can't get enough mangoes, and you just tin mangoes, not the same. So
Not the same at all.
I go 7 or 8 months of the year without having mangoes, and then you get them at Christmas time.
Well, as a fresh mango fan then, you must be pretty excited about the idea of these smart scarecrows that are coming out when it comes to fruit. Yeah, wow.
That was beautiful, Nick.
Thank you.
You've done this before, haven't you?
Tell me, because, I know smart speakers, smart doorbells, smart lighting. What is a smart scarecrow?
It seems like you throw the term smart in front of lots of things now,
Yeah.
but the old scarecrow, I mean, what a simple concept. Stick up a few clothes, a bit of hay stuffed in it, and that's it. It'll get rid of the crows, supposedly, but they haven't ever done that good a job, scarecrows. But this new device, developed by the CSIRO, and they do develop some fantastic things, is a 20 centimetre square box, and it's got in it speakers and cameras. And what it actually does is it looks out for things coming, i.e. ground or air. What are those devices, or what are those, animals coming? And then what sort of sounds work best with those? So it actually learns as it goes. So if it sees birds coming in, it recognises something coming from the air. It recognises vaguely the shape or the style of bird. It puts out noises and they didn't go. I'll try this noise. Oh, that noise worked. It then learns, and next time it sees that same shape coming, put out that noise. It seems something coming from the ground, same thing. What noise works to get rid of that? So absolutely brilliant concept.
This is some really clever adaptive AI at play as well, because clearly, it's a high-pitched noise that hasn't worked. What about if I play something that sounds like a wedge-tail eagle screeching? Is that going to work? And then it's recording that and keeping an eye on what works next time as well.
That's absolutely right, and it will develop, and then I haven't seen this in this particular model, but I can imagine at some point in time they'll actually link these devices together, so they'll have a connection back to the cloud where that information will not just be specific to that location, but I imagine you'll be able to get to the stage where you share this information across lots of devices. So you put a new device in, it's already got the advantage of all that learning and the continued learning from all those devices. And let's face it, a bird might get to the stage where it's clever enough to work out that that noise coming is not actually a wedge-tailed eagle, but it's actually that box over there. So it ignores that noise. So it needs to learn other noises, and then that learning would be shared amongst all these various smart scarecrows.
And we are saying scarecrows, but clearly this has applications for pests like rabbits, kangaroos, feral pigs, whatever.
Yeah, that's right. The idea is that it will be able to attack or try and keep away anything from the ground or from the air. So yeah, scarecrow is a very loose term. I wish they'd dress it up a bit. 20 centimetre square box doesn't look that exciting, but maybe that'll come. Maybe there'll be various devices they'll bring out in different shapes once the prototype stage is done.
Yeah, let's put a hat on it or something. That's what you need. And I'm also just thinking ahead, the research applications for this in terms of getting a better count of what the feral populations in certain areas are, if it's recording this as they come through.
And they haven't done that yet. The initial stage is just to scare this away. But once you've got that information and once the information is being recorded, then yeah, absolutely right. Different researchers can say, well, let's tap into that information and see, do we have a rabbit problem? Do we have a bird problem of some description of some not native bird that's around this area? What can we do about that? So all of that is basically the thing I get excited about with this sort of thing is you've got data. And then different people will look at that data in different ways and come up with a whole range of different things that you haven't even thought of at the moment.
So staying with the world of farming, can you explain to me why Russian farmers are putting VR goggles on cows?
Well, I actually grew up opposite a dairy, and I used to go over and help at the dairy. I don't know if I was a help or a hindrance, but I used to go over and help at the dairy from time to time. And there was always a radio playing in the background. Now, I don't know whether that radio was for the cows or for the people working there, but I suspect it may have been to try and relax the cows. And this is the next level, if you like, of having the radio going in the background. It's been proven that cows in a relaxed environment will produce more milk. So when you bring them into the milking area and you plug things into their udders and you've got people around and cows, it's not really the most stress-free environment. So Russian farmers have actually developed normal VR goggles that you and I would wear playing a game. They've developed them to fit on a cow's head, and they're playing scenes of peaceful, fields, nice sunsets, nice flowing streams, just things that a cow would be relaxed with, and the cows are producing more milk.
So it is actually having a genuine impact on milk
Actually
production.
working.
I'm really fascinated. I mean, who comes up with this to begin with?
Well, I
what's
think
incredible.
it is. I think it's that concept where they played the radio and someone made an offhand comment to, I don't know, some young developer one day, and he went, oh, hold on, if radio makes sense, then maybe we go the next step and try a VR headset. So VR headsets for cows, keep an eye out for them at your local dairy.
Yeah, and like I just want to point out, this isn't some fringe farmer being a bit weird, is it? I mean, this information we're getting from the Ministry of Agriculture and Food, so this is on a governmental level.
Yeah, that's right. It's not. They're experimenting with it at the moment, but they're actually getting results, and they're actually finding that the production is higher. So I can see it being rolled out, sure, across farms in Russia, but everywhere. Once this information, the world of technology, and we've got a global environment, once something works somewhere, you can guarantee it'll be working everywhere.
Well, Mathew Dickerson, one thing that does work particularly well at the moment, sadly, are scams when it comes to your mobile phone. And as we head towards the Christmas period, we usually see a bit of an uptake in these scams as well. Some new data coming out.
Well, the scary part is last year, $500 million was lost from Aussies alone, in scams.
That's
in phone
a huge amount of money.
Huge number. Now, most people, when I talk about this, they say, oh yeah, but you've got to be a bit of an idiot to get sucked into one of those scams. One of the techniques they do with the scams is they'll ring, and they'll just ring once, or they'll ring and you don't answer the phone, for example, and you see a number and you go, oh, gee, I missed a call from someone, don't recognise that number, and you ring them back. By ringing them back, that just charged your phone bill. Now, you ring back, you don't get anything, you think, oh, well, it must have been a funny number, I won't worry about it. But you don't go and check your phone bill and every line on your phone bill every single month.
Not at all.
That might have only been $3 or $4. You probably don't notice that. Your normal bill is a couple $100. Oh, it's a couple $100. I didn't notice much difference there. And that $3 or $4 was a scammer who'd set up a number to be charged back to your account when that went through. Now, so that's one of the simple ways. So you think you're an idiot to be sucked in by a scam. Well, how simple is that to actually have something charged to your account without even realising it was charged to there?
It is remarkably sophisticated at the moment, it really is. So we are seeing a bit of a crackdown, is that the plan?
The federal government has actually announced, and some may say finally, a crackdown. And so that's one of the crackdowns that they're focusing on. They're doing some trials at the moment, and that's one of the areas. One of the other areas is where an overseas company will spoof a number. So they'll basically dial through an Australian exchange, and when you see a number come up from, I don't know, Kuala Lumpur or India or Philippines,
you know what to expect.
Yeah, that's right. You go, gee, I don't know anyone there. I don't really think that's going to be a legitimate call. But they're very clever in that they'll actually route the number through an Australian exchange, and you see a number come up from, say, Sydney or Melbourne or Adelaide, and you think, oh, well, that could be someone legitimate, it could be my insurance company, whatever, and you take the call, and then that's when you can possibly have some scam activity or someone trying to scam money out of you. So the Australian government, one of the other areas they're focusing on is trying to work out how they're routing those calls. We know how they're doing it, but how to stop them routing those calls through an Australian exchange.
And making that more obvious to people who are taking those calls.
Well, stopping it basically, effectively, if we can stop it rather than even just have it come through. So if there's a legitimate call from overseas, let it be a legitimate call. If you are expecting a call from an overseas company, you're probably aware of that. It's not many times I've had a random overseas call and go, oh,
that's
Jimmy.
a really good point, yeah.
And so there's a few things they're targeting, but again, you're right, coming up towards Christmas, activity increases, and a lot of these organisations, you might think it's some young kid in a basement somewhere who's just trying out a few things. They're sophisticated companies and people go to work. So what are you doing today, darling? Oh, I'm off to work at my scam company. I mean, they don't see it as scamming. They see it as, I don't know.
As business.
As business, yeah. But so they're essentially focusing on what tools they use and then stopping those tools being used in this country.
Mathew Dickerson, we will have to leave it there. We'll talk again in a fortnight. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick.
We are coming up to 10 o'clock news, of course, the morning show after that, getting you right through until 11. Join me tomorrow morning, 6:35 a.m. Central West. Ewan Gilbert should be back with you at the same time. Thanks for your company. Thanks for all the Christmas foods. It's been great to chat today. 10 o'clock is the time. News time.